You have been on the ship for nearly 3 weeks. The rage you feel is consuming. Communication between captured Africans improves as you slowly begin to understand pieces of the different languages. Days of talking sought answers to the question, how could the Toubab of this canoe be attacked and killed? Did anyone have or know of anything that might be used as weapons? The relaying of any information among the captured Africans from whatever source seemed about the only function that would justify their staying alive. And more frequently, there arose bitter disagreements about how to kill the Toubab and when it should be tried. Bitter disagreements began to flare up. One debate was suddenly interrupted when the voice of an elder rang out, "Hear me! Though we are of different tribes and tongues, remember that we are the same people. We must be as one village together in this place." Murmurings of approval spread swiftly within the hold. The new and comforting sense of closeness with the other men made Kunta feel almost less aware of the stink and filth and even the lice and the rats. Then one day up on deck, the chained people suddenly stood rooted in astonishment and stared, along with the Toubab, at a flight of hundreds of flying fish. Kunta was watching, dumbfounded. Then suddenly he heard a scream. Whirling, he saw the fierce tattooed tribesman in the act of snatching a metal stick from the Toubab. Swinging it like a club, he sent the Toubab's brains spraying onto the deck. As other Toubabs snapped from their frozen positions of shock, he battered another Toubab to the deck. It was done so swiftly that the tribesman, bellowing in rage, was clubbing his fifth Toubab when the flash of a long knife lopped off his head cleanly at the shoulders. Here are your questions for this excerpt. What are the advantages of an immediate slave rebellion? What are the disadvantages? Question 2. Why is communication so important to you now? And question 3. Do you think any Africans successfully overpowered their captors? What obstacles awaited them if they did take control of the ship? Final excerpt. You endured the torturous transatlantic crossing and exited the ship. For 7 days you lived with other Africans from the ship in a large square house of mud bricks. You were then taken to a public square. "Top prime, young and supple," the Toubab shouted. Kunta was already so numb with terror that he hardly noticed as the Toubab crowd moved in more closely around him. Then with short sticks and whip butts they were pushing apart his compressed lips to expose his clenched teeth, and with their bare hands they were prodding him all over, under his armpits, on his back, his chest, all over. Then some of those who had been inspecting Kunta began to step back and make strange cries. $300, $350, the shouting Toubab laughed scornfully. 500, 6, he sounded angry. This is a choice young slave. Do I hear 750? Here are your questions for this last excerpt. 1. How does it feel to be off the slave ship? 2. What do you think is happening to you? And 3. What is all the shouting about? As you go back to your seats and prepare to do a free write on this exercise, I want you to think of some of these things and keep them in your mind to think about to guide your free write. What feelings did you experience during this activity? What was the process of enslavement like for you? What was the emotional impact of the capture and slave crossing on Africans? And what was the physical impact on them? Given the way they treated the Africans, how do you think the whites perceived them? Add anything else that you think is going to make your free write have more meaning and more impact. You have the remainder of class to finish this assignment. It needs to be at least a half a page to 1 page in your notebook, and you may use as many pages as you need. Good luck, and I look forward to reading them.
Created using Powtoon.